Hi, Happy New Year. Mark's Tyre blog for the first one, 2019. Tell you all the latest news. This one's all about village life. This one is going to tell you all about what's been going on in the village. A few little things have been going on. We've got a neighbour next door. I'll show you his house in a minute. He's an absolute arsehole, this bloke. He's about 40, covered in tattoos. I think he thinks he's about 12. What he acts. He plays music really, really loud, and he's got a new toy now. He's got a microphone, and it's fixed onto an old ghetto blaster. It looks like something out of the 70s. It's got big flashing lights on it. They look like the indicator lights on a Morris 1000, flashing on it. And he walks around with it with a strap over his shoulder, and he thinks he's like the dog's doodahs. He goes out on his bike sometimes with it blaring. But he sings to him. He sings, and he's got the worst voice you've ever heard in your life. And Mimi shouts at him sometimes, and he argues with her over his microphone. So she's shouting at him, and he's like shouting back using his microphone. But he's a complete utter twat. But anyway, a few weeks ago, just before Christmas, he decided there's a tree in between our houses, and he decides that he's going to cut it down. And by accident this thing crashed down on our roof and like took out 3 or 4 of the roof panels, and he wasn't even going to tell us, but I caught him doing it. And anyway, Mimi came back and had a word with him about it and everything, and she said, well, you're going to pay for it? He said, well, it's my mum's house, you'll have to go and see her. So we went round to his mum's house, and she coughed up in the end. She coughed up and paid for it to be done. But the bloke's just an utter twat. Luckily, I don't know what he does for a job. I mean, he's a clown somewhere. Luckily, he's away a lot. He's only here 2 or 3 days a week. But when he's home, he's a real nuisance. But look, here's the tree. Here's the tree that he chopped down. You can sort of see it. You can sort of see it there. Quite a heavy thing. And it crashed down on our roof and made a right mess of it. Knocked all the fence posts down. We had 2 or 3 big plant here. They got knocked down and crushed as well. But there's his house. He doesn't even look after it, you know. Oh, so he is. But there you go. World's full of them, isn't it? But anyway, let's just take you round. We're going to go and sit round the corner. I think Mimi might be joining us today for a little chat. I've booked her for an hour or so. We laid some new concrete in between the 2 houses because the rainy season will start fairly soon, and it gets a bit muddy otherwise. So we've done that. Anyway, let's just set up my camera. Here we go. Right, so Happy New Year to you all. Hope you're all well. Hope everything's good. Me notes. My brain's not as good as it used to be. Anyway, village life. A few days ago, or a week or so ago, a girl died in the village. She was only young, 23, died of leukemia, cancer. Young family. She had a young husband who was about the same age, and they got a little girl of 18 months, and they lived just down the road from us. She'd been ill for some time, but it was still quite shocking to hear that she'd died. Funerals here, they go on for about 4 days. They're not like at home where you just sort of go there and do your service, everybody rushes back and has a cheese sandwich and goes home. Here, about 2 days before the funeral, everybody goes round to the house and they eat and they drink, and I think it's just an excuse for people to have a free drink and a meal. But Mimi went down to the house, and the girl who's died, they bring her home. She lies in state, sort of thing, in the house. And she said when she went down there, the little girl whose mother died was walking around the house, and somebody very kindly said to her, where's your mummy? Where's your mummy? And the little girl, she pointed, said, "My mummy up there, my mummy up there." Oh God, when Mimi told me, oh dear, it really upset me. And she said people were crying, it was really sad. And but Mimi went to the funeral a few days later, and she said the little girl was just standing there. And you see everything in Thai funerals, it's very different. You see everything. You see the body, they open up the casket, and you can look in, and if you want to put something into the coffin, and you can actually stand there and watch them push the body into the furnace. It's quite. I didn't go to this funeral, but when I was in Pattaya, when I lived in Pattaya, one of my friends died there. In fact, I tried to save his life. Me and Mimi were giving him like heart CPR, but we couldn't bring him back to life, unfortunately. But same thing there. When he died, his wife sort of took a suit for him so he could be burnt in his suit. But when I looked into the coffin, all they'd done is lay the suit over his body. It was still on the hanger and everything. It looked for a minute, when you looked into the coffin, it looked like his body had disappeared and he'd gone all thin, because his like jacket and trousers were like empty, but in place perfectly, just laying there on top of him. And one of the monks actually broke the head of the coffin back. It was only like a bit of plywood, so the flames could get to him a bit easier, but it was quite graphic. And they pushed him in, and they turned on the furnace. I could hear like the fire starting. And I said to him, "I've got to go. I can't stand there and listen to that. You know, that's horrible." So off we went. But yes, and even now, people are still going to the house now down the road where the girl died, and they still go there and pay their respects and eat and drink. And funerals here cost a bloody fortune. It must just cost a fortune in food and drink, apart from anything else. You have to pay for the. You have to pay for the monks do their service and what have you, and they've got like a little all round the wall of the temple. They've got like little holes in the wall, and you can buy one. You can buy one of these, and you put the ashes you put in, but the ashes are normally like a jar of bones. You can actually see them in this little thing, you know. But
hello,
anyway, hold on a minute. Here's Mimi. She just come to say hello to you.
Hello, everybody. How are you? Hope you well. Happy New Year to you all. From Mark and Mimi. It's a little bit cold in Thailand now. Maybe we come to England this year sometime. See you all.
She's not reading this at all. Oh yeah, you're not reading it. Hey.
Okay, I have to go pick up my nephew. See you again. Bye.
Yeah, a newsreader in the making there. We have to go and pick up her nephew from school at the moment on the motorbike, but hopefully he's getting his new motorbike next week, so we won't have to do it anymore, because it's right bloody. It's like an hour there and back. You have to drive right the way through the town and what have you. So hopefully, when he gets his new bike, we won't have to do it anymore. So that'd be good. But anyway, just a bit more. Christmas Day, a few days before Christmas, my dad came up. His lady comes from a village about maybe 100 miles from here. So they drove up from Pattaya in a bus, went to her village first, and then they got a local man to sort of drive them to here. And Dad says he drove like an idiot. Dad says he paid him money to bring him here, then he had to pay for the petrol to put in the car. Then when they got here, the guy was checking the oil, and there was no oil, so then he wanted money off my dad to put oil in the car. But I think it would have been cheaper for my dad to have bought a car, you know. And this car was an old Honda, Accord or something like that, you know. And Dad says he drove like an idiot that whole way. He was speeding, and my dad says he was sitting in the passenger seat, and he was trying to put his foot on the brake, you know, like, because the guy was just driving so fast. There's a thing in Thailand. I know I tend to go on about the driving, but one of the things they've got to overtake the car in front for some reason. They've got to get past them. It's like law in their eyes. They can't have a car in front. It doesn't matter if they kill you, kill the family in front, kill pedestrians. As long as they get to the car in front, they're fine, you know. And when Dad got here, he was white. He said, "Oh God," he says, "I don't want to do that again." He said, because the guy thought he was going to come and pick him up and take him back to the village after Christmas. Dad says, "No," he said, I'd rather get a taxi or a bus. Anyway, we organised the bus for him at our local bus station, and it's quite cheap. It was only 160 baht, I think it was. It's pretty cheap, 100 baht, £4, something like that. Quite cheap. So we took him down there. He gave me some money. He said, "Could he go and buy me a little selection of sweets?" So I went and bought him some sucky sweets, opened them up out of the bag and put them in like a little separate bag for him so he could... He said, "Okay." He said, "My bus goes in about 20 minutes. He said, you might as well shoot off." So we did. Anyway, later that day, he rang me and said, for some reason, the bus didn't leave for another hour. It was an hour late leaving. He said they literally just got out of town and the bus broke down. So they were hanging about sorting that out. He said they got out of the bus. He said 'cause he wanted to stretch his legs and have a pee. He said there was a little girl standing there with her mum, and the little girl was looking at him because they all think the kids over here all think we're aliens from another planet. They look at us sometimes, especially when I'm in the village, because there's only 2 or 3 like foreigners that live in this village. But anyway, he said he's standing there. He sees this little girl, so he puts his hand in his sweetie bag. He gives her 2 sweets, and she was very happy with that. Anyway, about 2 hours later, they had to stop again. I think the bus was still playing up. He said this little girl was standing there, so he offered her the bag and said, "Oh, would you like a sweet?" He said she put her hand in the bag and just grabbed a handful of these sweets, and out and off. But, I thought that's a little tie-in train in there, bless her. So she nicked. I think she left him with about 2. But anyway, it took him hours and hours to get back, and it's not a long journey. I reckon if I did it in the car and did it properly, I reckon I could do it in 2 hours, but it always seems to take him forever to get here. I think they just go the wrong way, or I don't know what they do. They go fast, but they never seem to get anywhere. But when Dad was here, I was showing him how to use his iPhone properly, because he didn't know how to use YouTube, and he didn't even know there was a calculator on his phone. So I showed him how to use a calculator, which he thought was fantastic. Then I showed him how to use YouTube, and he was looking up all these things on YouTube, and he was saying, "But there's this singer I like." He said he's an Irish singer. He said, "Handsome man, lovely hair, blah blah." And it turns out in the end it was Daniel O'Donnell, who my dad absolutely loves, and I can't stand Daniel O'Donnell. I can't stand the man. I can't stand his singing. But of course, while Dad was here, it was like Daniel O'Donnell on tour, because he wanted to play every song that Daniel O'Donnell, and Dad was singing along. He was singing along with his songs and all that, and I thought, yeah, I shouldn't have shown him how to use YouTube. That was probably a mistake. But it was good in the village because it gave him like a little TV. I showed him how to get BBC News and live news, and he thought it was wonderful that he could get all this on his little phone. So that was good. So he was really happy with that. And another thing I showed him was how to make homemade proper custard, creme anglaise. Because in Thailand, if you buy, you can't really buy the powdered custard, and you don't often see the instant custard or anything like that either. But what you get tins of custard. You can buy tins of it, but of course you have to take out a mortgage just to buy a tin of custard. And he says, "Oh, I love a bit of custard," because he had his Christmas pudding. Sally sent him some Christmas puddings, which he brought up with him, and I heated those up for him, and we made this custard. And it was like the proper custard, made with eggs, egg yolks, sugar, vanilla flavor, vanilla extract, whatever. Oh, there goes Mimi now, off to pick up. And cream and milk and what have you, and we put in a little bit of condensed milk in it just to enrich it and what have you. And he watched everything I did, and I wrote it all down, and he says he can't wait now to get home and make proper custard. He said, "Oh, I can do bananas and custard." now, and I was telling him what he needs to do. I said, if you want to make chocolate custard, I said, you just buy yourself a bar of chocolate, snap it off, and just take the custard off the heat and just melt the chocolate into the custard, and then you've got chocolate custard. So he's really looking forward to doing that now, going back and making his custard. But bless him. So but it's good though. He said, oh, it's great coming up here and learning how to. He said, because Sue, his lady, her English isn't good enough to show him how to do something, and everything she says, bless her, she's ever so nice, she's ever such a nice lady, but everything she says is wrong. She gets everything wrong, you know. But he said to her the other day, she had to give up her job the other week. It was a few weeks ago, and he called. We were sitting where I'm sitting now, and she was talking to her friends, and he said, how long have you been off work now? He said, how long have you been off work? She said, 6. He said, 6 what? She said, 6 years. It's been 6 weeks. But that's why she said 6 years she's been off work. But she was working in a hotel. But typical hotel, they want to take every last ounce out of you, you know, and they don't pay you for overtime. And she was working all the hours God gave and getting very little money for it. So she left. Then she got a job in a new tower block, cleaning. But they wanted to sort of step out on this like ledge to clean the windows outside. And she wouldn't do it. She said, no, I was too scared, you know, because it was really high up. I don't quite know whether it was just a little balcony or something like that, but she just didn't like it, and they wanted it, so she left. So she left there. So at the moment she's not working. So Dad's having to pay for everything at the moment, which is upsetting him. But there you go. That's life. That's life for you. Anyway, what other news is there? Yeah, the old Christmas dinner was lovely. My Dad managed to get, because I couldn't get plain flour anywhere, but Dad managed to get some in patio, and he sent it up to me. He didn't know he was coming then, but we couldn't get any Paxo stuffing anywhere, and I couldn't even get any sage, dried sage, so I couldn't even make any. So we didn't have stuffing, and I do like me bit of stuffing, but we had beautiful Yorkshires, like that they were lovely. Roast potatoes, lovely roast chicken, fresh, free-range roast chicken, which I must admit was one of the best roast chickens I've ever eaten. It was beautiful, it was melt in the mouth. And we had a leg of pork, boned out leg of pork, which was really, really nice. Roast potatoes and all the bits and pieces, gravy made with all the juices from the meat, very, very tasty. And Mimi's kids joined us, and they've had it in the years before, but her son, he was in the temple last year, so he never had it. But he wasn't sure of it. He sat down, he took a little bit of meat, and he wasn't sure at first, and then he enjoyed that, and then he took a few roast potatoes, and then he had a Yorkshire, and in the end he had about 4 helpings. He was really enjoying it, and yeah, it was good. Really nice roast dinner. The only thing is, it just doesn't feel like Christmas because they're all at school all day. You know, just a normal day here. I put out me Christmas hanging Santa boots, you know, and something, these like table mats that Sally sent me a few years ago. So it made it look a little bit Christmassy, but we didn't have crackers or anything this year. But it was a nice day. But of course, the beauty is I don't have to spend anything on Christmas presents because nobody celebrates it. So that's quite good. Time for a quick slurp. So that's good. It's a little bit cold here at the moment. In the morning and at night, it's really cold. So I have this every year. It's, well, it's their winter, I suppose, really. No rain at the moment, but it's just cold and it's quite warm. It's about 25, I should say, at the moment. 25, 26 at the moment. But at night time, they're all sitting around shivering. It's not that cold, but in the morning when I take the boy to school, it's bloody cold. I wear my fleecy and I wear a scarf and a thing over my nose like that, you know, like a face mask sort of thing, helmet, because it is quite cold in the morning, which is strange for here, because normally you can go out on a t-shirt and have a great time on the motorbike. But this is our new little bit of garden here at the moment. We're sitting in here, so we laid the concrete and because her sister's little girl has just got a new bike. This is an ideal area for her to ride her bike around, which she does, you know. So that's good. That's a good job done. We had 4 of us working on it. It's bloody hard work mixing cement. Really, really hard work. It doesn't look a lot, but it was a lot of cement. I think it was something like 9 bags of cement, and of course all the sand and stones all had to be mixed in with it. We did it all by hand, and later Mimi and I sort of smoothed it all out ourselves. It's not too bad. It's not great, but it's not too bad. You do for now. And I personally dug all the front of her sister's garden out, because that's where all the stones and sand were. And that took me 2 days on my own, filling great big buckets of sand and then buckets of stones to bring over to do it. So that was all good exercise, kept me fit, but that was good. Dug out a few scorpions. There's a few scorpions around here. We've had a few snakes as well, which as you all know, I love a snake. So I've got to be careful of those as well. But the scorpions, I don't think they're killers. I don't think, except for what I've been told. I wouldn't want to test it, but I've been told they're black scorpions, and their sting is about twice as bad as a bee sting, or something like that, I think. So you've got to be a bit careful, but I don't think they're killers, so that's not too bad unless you've got a weak heart or old and infirm. But anyway, that's enough about me dad. So that's all done now, so we've just got to do a little bit of finishing off with the garden. We've been given a date this month now from the pension people about my money, one day this month, so keeping my fingers crossed on that, so that should all be quite good. My phone packed up this week for some reason. It's quite old, but I hardly use it, my phone. I tend to use my laptop more than anything, and my phone just packed up. I think it was the battery, but I couldn't get it to go back on again. It wouldn't work. 3 or 4 days went by, I couldn't get it to work. Mimi had tried it, her son had tried, we tried charging it, putting it in, didn't work. Yesterday morning, I thought, I tried it, it all sprung back to life again. But I think it must be the battery, so I must get hold of a new battery, which are about £7 here. Just got to get in there and get one, and that's it. So I watch all your posts you put out, everybody, and I saw the bullying staff party. They look like the usual drunken thing that they normally do. It's good. I remember we had some good parties with the bull. I remember those. I don't know whether the bull did Christmas dinners this year. I don't know. I didn't see anything to say that you did, but let me just see my notes, see if there's anything that I have forgot to tell you. No, that's it. So you can go now. Anyway, nobody's bloody sent me any chocolate. I can't believe. I thought you all loved me. And nobody's offered to send me a bar of Galaxy. But anyway, if anybody wants to, I'd really love a bar of bloody Galaxy. Stop being bloody stingy and send me one. I haven't had a bar of chocolate for years. Seriously, not had a bar of chocolate for years. Because the chocolate here is shit. They put something in it, so it doesn't melt, and it's like trying to eat candle wax. It's horrible stuff. Horrible bloody stuff, But I'd love it if somebody could send me a bloody bar of chocolate. As I say, stop being bloody stingy. I'm only joking, but it would be nice though. But as Mimi was saying, if everything gets back to normal, we get all our money and everything, we'd love to come back to England sometime this year at some stage and see everyone. It'd be nice to catch up again. It seems so long. I've been here now, living here now, or I have been home in between, but I've been living here now well over 5 years now. Long time, I use me Thai language now as much as I can. But Mimi I speak to Mimi in English all the time. If I speak to her in Thai, she just takes the piss out of me and just answers me in English. But it's funny with Thai language. I think to myself, oh, I don't know that much, and then somebody will ask me something in Thai, and I'm talking away to them, and I'm thinking, bloody hell, I didn't know I knew that. It's surprising what you pick up, and a lot of it's now second nature. And Mimi's daughter, she's 11, and she's doing really well She's doing really well with her English. She's going to be speaking good English, and her daughter's little girl, she's 2.5 or whatever, cute as they come, and her I think she's going to be speaking English before she speaks Thai, because she listens to all these things, you know. Everyone knows the song, don't they? Daddy Shark, Daddy Shark. Well, she listens to that, like, that's all I hear in the background, that and similar ones to it, and they've been playing all the Christmas songs, and she joins in with it all in English. And she's like, she seems to, well, no, she doesn't, because she's a right chatterbox, but she talks so much English now, you know, and she's a right funny little thing. But that's good. That's the best time for them to learn, isn't it? But anyway, I'm rambling like you do, because I don't normally have anybody to talk to. So here I am talking to a red camera. But anyway, miss you all. Sawadee Krap. You take care now.